Order number 5, papers.
The chairperson, Budget and Appropriations Committee, to lay a paper.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I have 2 papers to lay, but unfortunately, one is not ready. On the paper on the annual development plan. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg that you give us 14 more days so that we can be able to sit and finish the business in that document. Thank you.
Honorable Member, the paper you're supposed to pay to lay is consideration of the financial year 2023/2024 first quarter budget implementation report. Is that one ready?
Yeah, it's ready.
Then you lay it.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I beg to move the following motion, that this assembly adopts the report of the budget
Not motion. Honorable Member, not motion.
Oh, sorry, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to lay...
Okay, excuse me. Let me guide you. Yes, it's okay. Yes, the first paper, the development plan, is it ready? Are you guided now?
Guide me, Honorable Speaker, because I have 2 documents.
It says, Chairperson, Committee on Budget and Appropriation, to lay the committee report on consideration of the Makueni Count 2024-2025 Annual Development Plan. Is that already?
Mr. Speaker, sir, that's the one which I was asking for more time because the committee sat and the business, we were not able to finish the business on the annual development plan. And as a committee, we are asking for 14 more days.
14 more days after you had a whole week of putting a house in order?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, we had a lot of business for the county, including projects carried forward from the previous regime to this current one. So that is why we were not able to touch on this, to fully touch on this one particular report. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I promise that when we'll be considering the supplementary budget, we will also conclude on this.
I thought this might be very vital for the development, for the supplementary budget projection, because the annual development plan for 2024-2025, half of it is also included within the supplementary. How do you connect the two?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, sir, I agree with you, but you know it's not good for a committee to bring to the House a half-baked report. So that's why we are asking for 14 more days so that we can give the House a concrete report.
Kindly, let's work with the 7 days so that at least also the other members may have time also to interrogate this if it comes.
Oblige, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Chairperson, Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services, to lay the committee report regarding persons with disabilities in the county. Chair. Chair agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, I kindly request you to add me one more day so that we can lay tomorrow at 2:30 because the report is not yet complete. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So tomorrow at 2:30?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Chairperson Committee on Budget and Appropriations to lay the committee report on consideration of the financial year 2023-2024, Makueni County Government Executive and Assembly Supplementary Budget Estimates. Chairperson, Budget and Appropriations.
Just a minute, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg for 14 more days because the supplementary budget is supposed to be considered by the whole House, and I understand that we were to sit and consider it as a House, but it was not possible. So I'm asking for 14 more days so that the committee can consult with the House leadership and the executive part of the government. Thank you.
Thank you. Chairperson Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs to lay the committee report on the consideration of the 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Devolution Department.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I request for a few minutes, then I will lay.
How many?
Few minutes, like 10 minutes. Yeah, few minutes.
So we'll come back to it, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, so prepare yourself. The Chairperson Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs to lay the committee report on the vetting of Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for appointment as the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor. Are you also not ready? Chairperson Devolution?
Let me consult something, Mr. Speaker, then I'll come back to you.
I think, Honorable Chair of Devolution, put your house in order. We'll come back to those papers later. The next order, Clerk.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Yeah. Honorable members, we don't have any paper which has been laid today, so we move to the next order. So before we go to the next order, devolution, are you set? Not yet. Okay, next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Chairperson Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs to give response to the statement regarding the operations of the Makueni County Public Service Board as requested by the member for Tulimani Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I think that statement we gave in his house, and I think it's a resumption of debate because time elapsed when we were debating on the statement.
I think for the essence of bringing the members to speed on where we are, I suggested that you give an executive summary or you give an additional information as per the committee if you have any, so that at least members can be able to adjust to the right level of deliberation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if I go just briefly, it was a statement requested by Honorable Chanomumu, member for Tulimani, and Mr. Speaker, we gave a response, and we have to give additional response, Mr. Speaker. And the first question, it was about there were missing names. The board reported that they had a question, provided the list of officers who were granted leave of absence with terms and period of leave of absence had not been understood. Hence, the omission of the names of 3 officers from the earlier response, and the 3 names were given, Mr. Speaker. And the other omission was the question number 2, which was just similar, and they added the other 3 names. And the other question, Mr. Speaker, was on gratuity. There is tabulation on gratuity and the amount and the name of the 10 officers. Mr. Speaker, regarding the leave of absence granted by the board, it was noted while on discussion that Dr. Patrick Obwana had different amount in that tabulation, and the committee derogated the board, and there is a response on that. That states that regarding the leave of absence granted to Dr. Kibwana, the board informed the committee that the officer had been seconded from the national government in 2014 at the undefined of devolution. So the gratuity, I think it was from 2014, except for the others 9, the others 8 who started their job during 2017, and Rael Muthoka, who had nil gratuity. Mr. Speaker, there was the issue of the ward development officers whose contracts were not renewed. The board informed the committee that they had disciplinary issues. The board also pledged to submit evidence of abolition of position of deputy county secretary and the creation of position of principal administrative secretary occupied by Ms. Rael Muthoka. And I think, Mr. Speaker, with that, members now can remember what we are discussing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Request of the statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, yes, indeed, the chair and the committee brought the report last time, but because of lapse of time, we did not complete in debating, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, I am on record that I was not satisfied, Mr. Speaker, with that response. Mr. Speaker, as much as the board will want to say, you see, on question number 1, they omitted some names. I don't know whether it was deliberate or it was just joking around with the assembly or trying to play around with our minds, Mr. Speaker. And then when the committee itself asked for additional information, it is now when they said, oh, we thought these names were not needed. I think this house must be taken serious, Mr. Speaker. This is a legislative house, Mr. Speaker. And anybody who dares to joke with this house, it is only this house that also does the appointment to the board. So when, Mr. Speaker, something comes to look like they are misleading house, I will not take that simple, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you go to the issue of gratuity, you have heard that there are members who got money, there are others who did not get money. I think there was an issue there on that one. Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the CS, there was a position for principal secretary that was supposed to be done by the transfer was supposed to be done by the CS, but indeed it was done by the then governor, Mr. Speaker, violating some rules, Mr. Speaker. So Mr. Speaker, as much as we want to hide our head in the sand, I want to believe that this question is not satisfactorily answered, and therefore, this board should be invited here on a whole house, on a general oversight committee, Mr. Speaker, so that they may one-on-one answer. Because it is not us, Mr. Speaker, it is the house, it is the people of Makueni. Mr. Speaker, on issues of promotion, you've heard that, or there are those who did not meet the requirement. But I'm told now they want to promote 500 doctors. What happened then? Why were they not promoting them? So this board must be questioned by this house. Face to face, tete a tete, Mr. Speaker, so that they see you, Mr. Speaker, leading us, because so that we avoid future challenges, Mr. Speaker, because we may just leave it there, and another board will come and make same mistakes. There are people who had applied for this position, for jobs. They were so frustrated. You are told you don't have a receipt, and then you are qualified and you go. So Mr. Speaker, it is not personal, but it's the issues, Mr. Speaker. And I want to thank the committee because they realized that the board did not satisfactorily answer the question. And that's why they asked an additional information. And even after that additional information, they found there were gaps. So, Mr. Speaker, I would not want to leave it as gaps. I would want this to go to a conclusive conclusion, and therefore beg the wisdom of the chair, the wisdom of the house, that this house invites the board to a general oversight, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, after that general oversight, these things will be laid bare. I thank you. I rest my case.
Honorable member and our leader of majority, so that we can be fair, your request can be granted. But we cannot just invite a whole board without specifically stating which specific questions have not been addressed to satisfaction. Because the basis of bringing them on board is a question of saying this question has been partially dealt with. There are gaps in this question and this question. And that gives us the basis of bringing these people on board. Kindly, I wish you can take us through that, so that if we are making a decision, we'll be fair to you, we'll be fair to the house, and be fair to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's only that I have come to the house directly from a function. I have a file with me, 2 files, Mr. Speaker, that has a lot of information. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, if I can beg to be given more time to come to the House, Mr. Speaker, with specific areas that I thought they were not properly addressed.
I think that would be fair, because we don't want to look like we are just another kind of a house. How much more time do you need so that you can be able to bring us full information that this area is wanting, this area needs attention, this area needs attention, so that by the time we write a letter to these people, we are specific to what they'll come and deal with in the house.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in order, and for fairness' sake, Mr. Speaker, I beg to bring this next week. Next week.
Yes. You want to say something, honorable member? Press your...
This statement, she just got it on the door, and there are things we didn't know that the requester had been given information about it. And as you can see, he's saying he was not given information. And basically we are supposed to share information with the requester so that when we come here, we don't come on conflict. So, Speaker, I think that is a warrant enough to request that it is presented tomorrow so that we can share the response with him. Mr.
Okay.
Speaker, thank you.
I think then be ready tomorrow at 2:30. Is that okay, request of the statement?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree with the Honorable Balo because I also expected them to invite me so that we can also discuss what they have before it comes to the House. Thank you.
Chairperson, Committee on Lands, Urban Planning and Development to give response to the statement regarding the transfer of functions to the Wote and Emali Sultan Ahmed municipalities as was requested by the member for Emali Mulala Ward. Chairperson, Committee on Lands.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the response came and some very important information was missing, so we had to take it back, and it will be ready on Monday. So we need more time, that is on Monday, so that we can bring the statement.
The same with the request of the statement?
We will share, it just came today, when we realized that there is some information, very important information that is not there, according to their questions.
But Chair, that information is on the order paper. And the best way to complete the cycle of communication is when you preempt the expectations of the member.
Mr. Speaker, I realize that it's like this House will never have a report because the issue was to be responded satisfactorily after 7 days, as the chair has requested. I am just learning now that it's part of the business today to be transacted, and yet there is no communication. The member is assuming that on Mondays I'm free. So that I will go by his schedule. And that's why he's requesting to be responded on Monday. Honorable Speaker, there was no very serious matter that required some survey. It was about clicking a button and giving responses. It seems the committee is too friendly to the executives, that they are afraid of carrying out their oversight activity. I wish and I'm not sure whether they had a quorum today, because they have been meeting without a quorum for quite some days. Maybe we can get to know whether they sat and whether there are evidence of committee meetings.
Honorable Member, can you substantiate that statement that they have been meeting without quorum? Because I think...
I am saying they meet, they don't get quorum, so they don't conclude on that matter. It has been concurrent, not once or twice, Honorable Speaker. Mm-hmm. And the chair can confirm that. So Mr. Speaker, I wish the committee gets serious, because it is not serious.
Let's hear what is the point of order.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the member to give very serious allegations about my committee? And we are in the record, being the only committee that acquires quorum. And I beg you withdraws the information, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Member, you've heard the chair.
Honorable Speaker,
can you respond to the order?
Honorable Speaker, it is true. Last time I was in the committee room, we did not get a quorum. The committee had invited the ECM, the CEO, and the municipal managers. Mr. Honorable Speaker, they did not attain a quorum and we did not meet. We were to meet, to have a meeting in the whole chamber. The meeting was called off. That is one of the examples that the committee doesn't attain quorums.
So,
Honorable Speaker, I'm quite in
at
order.
that point, let me ask you, Honorable Member. You are saying the committee invited an ECM.
Oh, yes.
Is that a fact?
Oh, yes.
ECM came.
Yes.
And the ECM went back because there was no quorum.
Oh, yes.
Is it in record?
Honorable Speaker, we were to meet in the whole chamber.
Were you part of the committee?
The ECM
that day?
came. The CEO came.
Yourself,
Both municipal managers came.
Yourself, were you there?
We did not attain a quorum. Oh, yes, I was there.
And you did not have quorum?
I am not a member of the committee.
Okay.
Yes, I was
So I
invited.
think I would say they have heard, they should have quorum. Continue with the discussion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. At least the chair requested for evidence. And that is quite self-explanatory. The committee is failing because they don't hold meetings. Period. So even the Monday he's talking about, he's not sure. So I want to be sure whether the committee will be able to respond to my concern, which are concerns of the people of the two municipalities and the government. Honorable Speaker, I faced the town sweepers, those who clean a Mali town. They are around 300. They went without payment. When I went to the manager, the municipal manager, he said that the automation was just on paper. They have no resources to pay those sweepers. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a concern of the electorate of Emali Mulala, of Wote municipality. The Emali Sultan municipality. It is not my concern. It came from the people. So that's why I'm demanding for a response. And the chair must be very sure when that response will be here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think I'm very sure of what I'm doing. I have a lot of confidence in me and my committee. And Mr. Speaker, if there is anyone who have a lot of interest in this statement, it's me. Because I was the first person to bring the municipality charter here in this house, and I'm aware of what is required. And I cannot bring anything that is not comprehensive here. And because I know what is required to put the municipalities on standalone without no attachment to any other department. We have to get information in all the departments. We are not transferring anything, leaving other departments aside. There's a lot of information. And when I realized that we had to take it back, we didn't have a choice because it was, even if I would have brought it here, it would have gone back. So we are sure of Monday and we will bring a comprehensive statement on Monday. Thank you.
I think without a lot of back and forth, we will stick, Honorable Member, because, what is the information?
Chair, can the chair produce evidence of the communication between the committee and the ECM so that we are sure there is a communication?
Honorable Member, I don't want us to go that route. We will get lost. Because when you request for answers, and the way you have said you want answers by Monday, we'll be retracting and interfering in the process of getting the answers. Let him put his house in order, follow the communication, whether it's there or not. If they will use the phone, they will use what method, but what we want is answers on Monday. And he has heard, we need the answers on Monday, he has committed, that should be the right way to go. Thank you, Honorable Member. Clerk, next order. We left an issue on papers and the Department of Evolution. So I think, Clerk, we can have the person represent, the chair represent the department. So Honorable Chair for Devolution.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Assembly today, Tuesday, 14th November 2023, at 2:30 p.m. The report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs on the vetting of Ms. Velistas Kamene Motuni for appointments of the chief.
Kenya shillings and remitted conditional allowances and grants amounting to 2,875,474. E. The development budget absorption rate recorded was the highest ever since the inception of devolution. The development absorption rate stood at 79%. There were unspent development funds amounting to Kenya shillings 699,160,114, comprising of Kenya shillings 678,211,626 Kenya shillings for projects and programs in the county executive departments, and Kenya shillings 20,948,488 for projects in the assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I continue, I pray that I may sit because I'm still unwell and my back is aching. I pray that I may continue while seated.
Do you have another member who can be able to take over from you? Leader of majority?
No, Mr.
Or you can still sit. You are okay when you're seated?
Yes.
Move on then. Just sit, present. Turn the microphone. Sanjay, turn there. Okay, good.
Okay. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The committee therefore recommended that A, the county treasury should ensure that reallocations of the project's fort balances are done in consultation with the respective members of the county assembly during the consideration of the next supplementary budget. B, the county treasury should consider standardizing the costs contained in the contracts issued across all departments to ensure payments don't exceed the contract sums. C, there is need to ensure proper project conceptualization before any project is funded in the budget. This will ensure that projects don't stall and implementation is not delayed as being witnessed in several wards. D, there is need for collaborative efforts of all county government entities to enhance our resource mobilization to ensure the county realizes all the targeted on-source revenue. Further, the county treasury should engage the national treasury and donors to ensure timely release of the relevant funds to counties. E, the county government should come up with plans of ensuring the huge development budget fort balances witnessed every financial year is reduced. This will improve on the budget absorption. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I take this opportunity to thank all members of the committee for their input and valuable contributions during the deliberations on the implementation of the financial year 2022-2023 budget estimates. It is therefore my pleasant undertaking on behalf of the Select Committee on Budget and Appropriations, it's my pleasure and duty to present to the Assembly the committee's report on the implementation of the financial year 2022-2023 budget estimates for information. Mr. Speaker, sir, I therefore call the Majority Leader, Member for Tulimani Ward, to second the motion.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this Assembly adopts the committee report of the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the year 2022-2023 budget implementation status laid on the table of the Assembly on 1st November 2023. The floor is open for debate. Mover of the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank Member for Tulemani, our majority leader, for seconding the motion. And I also thank the members for supporting the motion in silence. And I kindly urge them to go through the tables for tabulation so that they can be able to analyze and fall on how the revenue has increased so that they can also be able to advise the department finance on how to collect more revenue, and also so that they can also be able to trace on how the completion and the completion of their projects is being done, and also how the projects are being executed. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I urge all members to support this motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of the Budget and Appropriation Committee on the year 2022-2023 budget implementation status laid on the table of the Assembly on 1st November 2023. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. As many of different opinions say nay. The ayes have it. Next order. Clerk. Honorable members, we have listened to this report, and I think, Clerk, there are quite a number of issues which need to be addressed. So I think share the report with the different respective departments, that's the Governance Department, the Finance Department, and another respective department which is attached to this implementation of this report. One of the key things is the unallocated funds is on the higher side, and we need to see this development spread across. Thank you. Next order.
Order number 9, motion. The report of the Committee on Finance and Social Planning on the consideration of the financial year 2023-2024, Department Work Plan of the Finance, Planning, Budget, and Revenue Department.
Chairperson, Committee on Finance. To move the motion.
Beg to move the following motion.
Our Deputy Speaker is in the House, so karibu.
That this Assembly adopt the report of the Committee on Finance, Socio-Economic Planning on the consideration of the financial year 2023-2024, Departmental Work Plan of the Finance, Planning, Budget, and Revenue Department, laid on the table of the Assembly on 30th October 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, Standing Order number 217, that's section 5B, D, and E of the Makueni County Assembly Standing Orders provide that the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning starts the responsibility of studying the programs and policy objectives of the department and the effectiveness of the implementation, studying, assessing, and analyzing the relative success of the department as measured by the results obtained as compared with their stated objectives and investigation, and inquiring into all matters relating to the assigned department as they may deem necessary and as may be referred to them by the County Assembly. So during the 65th sitting of the County Assembly held on Monday, 28th August 2023, the leader of the majority party tabled a department work plan for the various county departments. The work plans were committed to all sectorial committees which were directed to study, analyze, prepare committee work plans and report to the Assembly within 14 days. Mr. Speaker, the committee observed the following. Upon the scrutiny of the departmental work plan and approved budget financial year 2023-2024, the committee observed that the department plans to spend a total of 565,599,035 cents in the financial year 2023-2024, out of which 540,599 and that shilling is set for the recurrent, while Kenya shillings 25 million is development expenditure. 2, mobilized for utilization by the county government, a total of 176,513,309 in conditional allocation, that is loans, grants, by the end of the financial year 2023-2024. Mr. Speaker, thirdly, finalize the county asset policy, that is continually tag all newly acquired assets and update the assets register. Further, the department shall dispose of the idle assets by June 2024. Promptly pay bills by ensuring that pending bills do not exceed 1 percentile of the total budget allocation. 5, develop a framework for external resource mobilization to ensure more resources to the county budget from donors and partners, and such resources to the county budget from donors and partners, sorry, the resources are fully realized and on timely basis. 6, develop the county procurement manual by 30th June 2024. Integrate the revenue system with the health management system by 31st December 2020. Honorable Majority Leader and Honorable Gimongo, please. Consult in law tone, please. Integrate the revenue system with the health management system by 31st December 2023 and fully automate the budget process by 30th September 2023. Collect at least 1 billion from the on-source revenue in the financial year 2023-2024 with the quarterly targets of 20%, 15%, 35%, and 30% across the 4 quarters, respectively. Further, the department envisages the 100% adoption and use of Makueni County Hub, that is my Makueni, by 30th June 2024 in order to improve efficiency, transparency, and revenue collection. Recommendations. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends that all projects should be implemented within the financial year they are budgeted under. Further, the accounting officer should strictly adhere to provision of Section 153(1) of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, which states that the accounting officer for a county government entity A is responsible for the management of entity's assets, liabilities, and B shall manage those assets in such a way to ensure that the county government entity achieves value for money in acquiring, using, or disposing of these assets. 2, the department should ensure that full mobilization and realization of the conditional allocation, loans, grants in order to cushion the county government from budget shortfalls arising from unrealized conditional allocation, loans, and grants. And further, ensure that the realized conditional allocations, loans, grants are utilized within the confines of the provision of Section 139 of the Public Finance Management Act 2012, read together with Part 4 of the Public Finance Management, that is the County Government Regulations 2015 on the administration and management of grants and donations. Further, 3, the head of county treasury should Public Finance Management Act 2012 on preparation and submission of quarterly reports to the county government entity to the county assembly. The department should submit to the county assembly the final county asset policy and the framework for external resource mobilization by 31st December 2023. Lastly, but not the least, the department to provide a status report on the full automation of the budget process, which was to be completed by 30th September 2023 within 7 days of the adoption of this report. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I take this opportunity now to thank the committee members for their input, value, contribution during the deliberation of this report. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the Office of the Speaker and the Office of the Clerk for the support accorded during the consideration of this report. On behalf of the committee, I therefore table the committee report for consideration and adoption by the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, I now call upon Honorable Sharon Mutinda to second this motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House adopts the report for the Committee on Finance and Socio-Economic Planning for the consideration of the year 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Finance Planning Budget and Revenue Department laid on the table of the Assembly on 30th October 2023. The floor is open for debate. Move of the motion.
Silence, I think, means they will support. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House or this Assembly adopts the report for the Finance and Socio-Economic Planning on the consideration of the year 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Finance Planning Budget and the Revenue Department laid on the table of the Assembly on 30th October 2023. As many of that opinion say aye, as many of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Next order. I think I direct that this report is passed over to the Governor's Office, as well as the Finance Department, and also other respective are supposed to implement these recommendations. Thank you. Yes. What is the point of order?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have two strangers in the House. Mr. Speaker, is it in order for Honorable Musau from Ngoma Sumba and Honorable Mutindi not to cross the green light, bow, and then proceed to their seats through the back door? I perhaps may need to understand the meaning of this green light, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Member, Special Elect, Chair of Gender, seasoned member, is the allegations true? Can you substantiate?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I bowed at the green strip. I don't think it's there to be crossed. It's just there to show where you shouldn't go beyond.
I think so that it can
you,
be.
That is where you bow from. The Honorable Leader of Majority just wanted me to pass near his desk.
Could be so that you can satisfy his expectation. Go back reasons. And bow again, then
Thank
you enter.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, just go back,
Mr.
bow
Speaker,
again, forget about the whole thing.
Do it twice.
There's no problem. Just satisfy his emotions. Let him.
Mr. Speaker, how can I do something?
Yes.
My beautiful friend from Kako, that the Bible says you only enter through the Father. You only enter in the confines of godliness and godly places through the Father. And in this house, that is irregular. Once you bow to the bar, at the bar, you must enter. And then after you enter, you can now, if you are so shy, probably maybe she has a miniskirt, she didn't want us to look at her as she was walking here. Then go around. I'm sure it has rained so much in Gu, probably your shoes are in a pathetic situation. If you don't want us to look at the, just go around, but you must enter through the bar. Bow at the bar, enter through the bar. Thank you.
Without wasting a lot of time, I'll ask the two members to go, bow, and enter the house. So kindly move to the bar, do the necessary. We raise this matter at that point instead of wasting a lot of time. Kindly do the necessary. You are directed, Honorable Member, to do as you have been directed. Very good. Next order. Yes. Don't worry.
Honorable Speaker, I find the act of the two members out of order through conspiracy between themselves or by whatever other instinct. They walked out, and they didn't bow as they were walking out. So that is disrespect to this house and to the chair. They should have bowed, entered. If they want to go out, they bow again. And proceed and move out, yes.
Honorable member, let me help the House. According to this, I have noted with a lot of concern on their behavior. We have very clear standing orders which direct that. So once they come, we'll raise the matter. Now you can raise the matter. Honorable member from Avindini.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I had earlier, when they walked out, Honorable Speaker had said that the two members are out of order, in that they walked out, they came in, they bowed very well in unison, appeared to proceed to their seats, but made a U-turn and walked out without bowing again as they exited the House. They should have bowed again as they were exiting. You know? So that is irregular, but good enough, Honorable Speaker. We can have some millions of them because when they went out, probably the Holy Spirit spoke to them and they came back in good whatever. So we can just have some millions of them.
Ongu is what has been described now. What happened?
Honorable Speaker, you know, we came from the house, then we bowed and then we moved out.
Did you bow as you were walking out?
We bowed. We did.
As you were walking out?
Of course, yes.
You did not bow?
You have to close
kindly,
the speaker.
Kindly.
You have to close the bar and then you bow.
Remember, let me help you. I was sitting here. Let us not waste time for this house. We have the standing orders. You know the procedures, and the procedures must be adhered to. When you walk in and you bow as you enter, as you go out, you again bow and walk out. That's the way it is. So kindly apologize, do the necessary, and sit. Or you move out. The same thing applies to the honorable member for the chair for gender. Kindly, you are also part of that process. Correct the mess, or else we apply the standing orders. You see, you have again walked out. We as were about, which is good. Honorable member, do the necessary. Let us not waste time for the house. Thank you. Let me say this to the Honorable House. You are in this house under oath, and the oath is that which to protect the sanctity of this house. It is not the sanctity of the speaker, it's the sanctity of the house. And it's very important to adhere to the standing orders, which are very prevalent and very clear. So I think let's stand advised. We have a responsibility, and we have to conduct ourselves well when you're within the house. Clerk, next order.
Order number 10, motion. Report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the consideration of the financial year 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services Department.
Chairperson, Chairperson, Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I kindly request I kindly request you to give us more days so that we can drive the motion tomorrow, because we have not yet presented we did not lay the paper because the report was not ready. So kindly, I request you to give me more time up to tomorrow.
Chair, Honorable Chair. This is a report which was laid on 31st October 2023. Can you walk to the table and get helped so that you can carry the business? Because everything is ready here. And a kindly table office, be helping the members in advance. I think now you are well guided. Now move on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me this opportunity. I want to read the motion. Standing order number 217, clause 5B, and the D and the E of the Makueni County Assembly standing orders. Sorry. I beg to move the following motion. That this Assembly adopts report of Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Service on the consideration of financial year 2023 to 2024, departmental work plan for the Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Service Department, laid on the table of the Assembly on 31st October 2023. Mr. Speaker, sir, the standing order number 217, clause 5B, and D and E of the Makueni County Assembly standing orders provides that the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Service is bestowed with the responsibility of studying the program and the policy objectives of department and effectiveness of the implementation, studying the accessional and analyzing the relative success of the department as measured by the results obtained as compared with their stated objectives, and investigating in requiring into all matters related to the assigned department as they may deem necessary, and as they be referred to them by the County Assembly. During the 65th sitting of the County Assembly held on Monday, 28th August 2023, the departmental work plan for the various county departments were tabled and committed to the sectorial committees to study, analyze, prepare committee's work plan and report to the Assembly within the 14 days. The Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Service considered the departmental work plan, financial year 2023 to 2024, and to be considered and adopted by the House. To be considered and adopted by the House. Committee's observation. During the scrutiny and consideration of the departmental work plan, the committee made the following observation. The department was in the process finalizing the sexual and gender-based violence by policy 2021 and Makueni County Children Policy 2021 for submission to the Assembly. 3. The department plans to fully operationalize the Makueni County Children Protection and Development Center by the end of last quarter to the financial year, 2023 to 2024, April to June 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, the committee recommends as follows. The department should finalize the sexual and gender-based violence bill by second quarter of the financial year 2023 to 2024. 2. The department should finalize the review of the Makueni County Gender Policy 2021 and Makueni County Children Policy 2021 for submission to the Assembly. Should be complete in the second quarter of the financial year 2023 to 2024. 3. The department should fully operationalize the Makueni County Children Protection and Development Centers by the end of the second quarter of the financial year 2023-2024. Acknowledgement. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to extend my special gratitude to the Office of the Speaker and the Office of the Clerk for the support offered to the committee. On behalf of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Service, I hereby present this report to the County Assembly for consideration and adoption. I ask Honorable Janet Kitunga to second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Gender. Okay. Somebody saying that I don't have voices here. Let me repeat myself. Honorable House, I now propose the question that this House, or this Assembly, adopts the report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services on the consideration of the year 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services Department laid on the table of the Assembly on that 1st October 2023. The floor is open for debate. The point of order.
Honorable Speaker, I wonder whether we can proceed with the deficiency of quorum.
We have quorum. We have quorum.
Unless I didn't count myself.
Count yourself.
But since the members I was counting less one, but yes, member for care, it comes in as a savior.
Thank you. Honorable Member, Special-elect Kitunga.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I stand to support that this is a work plan which shows what the department will be doing in this department, Mr. Speaker. It's a department which is very needy, Mr. Speaker. And it is a department which enables me to come in this honorable house, Mr. Speaker, because I specifically come to this assembly to talk for the needs of the marginalized communities, which are taken care by that department, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am standing purposely to ask this House to be considering the needs of this group. Sometimes when we are raising the budget, Mr. Speaker, department which is always underfunded, it is this department, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we really focus on roads. We really focus on education. We focus on the environment and the climate change. We focus on agriculture. And little do we ask about the well-being of this group, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I kindly request this House, whenever we are raising our budgets, to consider this very, very vulnerable group. Whichever projects we are undertaking, we ensure that we are inclusive. We always put this group. We always consider this group, or we always put these people in. We are legislators. Always let us legislate with engendered eyes. Let us raise budget with engendered eyes. Let us raise our budget putting the needs of the marginalized in our hearts, the needs of children and the needs of youth. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Mover of the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I stand to thank Janet Kitunga for supporting this motion and all other members for supporting the motion in silence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of the Committee on Gender, Children, Youth, and Sports and Social Services on the consideration of the year 2023-2024 Department Work Plan of the Gender, Children, Youth, Sports, and Social Services Department laid on the table of the Assembly on that 1st October 2023. As many of that opinion say aye, as many of contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. This report has very good recommendations, especially the third recommendation, and I will ask that it's passed over to the ECM so that they can fast track the implementation. I believe it's a very good report which can help the people of Makueni. Thank you. Next one.
Order number 11, procedural motion, waiving of notice period.
The leader of the majority to move a procedural motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion, that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order number 5, Part B, that this Assembly resolves to waive the notice period on the motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs on the vetting of Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for appointment of the Chief Officer for the Office of Governor, appearing on the order paper under order number 12. I, Mr. Speaker, without much ado, request the Honorable Minority Leader to second the motion.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that, notwithstanding the provisional standing orders number 60, Article 5B, this assembly resolves to waive the notice period on the motion for adoption of the report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, and Special Programs on the vetting of the Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for appointment of the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor, appearing on the order paper under order number 11. The floor is open for debate. The mover of the motion.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just for the point of correction, order number 12, I heard you talk about order number 11, but maybe you stand to guide. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, I request honorable members to pass this motion. I thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the procedural motion waiving notice period that, notwithstanding provisional standing order number 60, Article 5B, this assembly resolves to waive the notice period on the motion for the adoption of the report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, and the special programs on the vetting of Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for appointment of the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor, appearing on the order paper under order number 12. There was a printing error, so now it has been corrected. As many of that opinion say aye, as many of contrary opinion say nay, the ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. The report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, the special programs on the vetting and approval of the Chief Officer nominee, Office of the Governor, Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune.
Chairperson, Committee on Devolution. Move motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that this assembly adopt the report of the Committee, Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, and Special Program, the vetting of Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for the appointment as the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor. Mr. Speaker, sir, Article 235(1) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, as read together with Section 45(1) A and B of the County Government Act of Chief Officers by Government Print Media, that is the standard, under the County Government website. This was after the substantive Chief Officer earlier vetted for the position was transferred to Department of Gender, Children, Youth, Sports and Social Services. Mr. Speaker, the advert attracted a total of 15 applicants who were shortlisted and invited for interviews. Interviews were conducted on Monday, 25th September 2023 at SEK Resort, Salam. The board interviewed and forwarded suitable candidates for nomination. His Excellency the Governor nominated one, Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune, and communicated the nomination of the applicant to the Speaker of the County Assembly through a letter, reference GMC, stock GVN, stock ADM, stock CS, stock 25, volume 3, in brackets 57, dated 17 October 2023, together with nominees' testimonials. Additionally, the Governor also forwarded the board's report on the criteria for arriving at the successful interviewed applicants. Mr. Speaker, the Speaker after referred the nominee to the sectoral committee for vetting and reporting to the Assembly within 21 days. In accordance with 7(4) of the Public Appointments, that is County Assemblies Approval Act 2017, the Clerk of the County Assembly placed an advertisement in the print media, that is the standard, on 27th October 2023, inviting the nominees for the approval hearing before the Assembly Sectoral Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, and Special Programs on Monday. This was later changed on Monday, 6 November 2023 at the Assembly Presidents. This was later changed with mutual agreement between the Assembly and the nominee on Friday, 3rd programs. On 3rd November 2023, the approval hearing pursuant to the provision of the County Government Act 2012 and the Public Appointments County Assembly's Approval Act 2017 and the County Assembly Standing Orders on suitability for appointment to the position of County Chief Officer of the Office of the Governor. Mr. Speaker, the committee found out that that the nominee had the minimum required academic qualifications of the first degree in a relevant field. 2, that the nominee met the requirement of Chapter 6 of the Constitution on leadership and integrity, having obtained clearance form from Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, that is EACC, Kenya Revenue Authority, and the High Education Loans Board, and the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, DCI. 3, that the nominee has never been dismissed from office under Article 751. That is conflict of interest. Article 76, that is financial probity. Article 77, restriction on activities of state officers, and Article 78, dual citizenship of Constitution of Kenya 2012. Number 4, that the nominee had qualifications in strategic planning and management which is a requirement in performing the duties of the office. Number 5, that during the approval hearing, the nominee demonstrated knowledge on topical, administrative, and technical issues touching on the docket she is nominated for appointment to as accounting officer. And number 6, that the appointing authority appropriately address regional and gender balance in nominating and forwarding this nominee to the Assembly. Number 7, Mr. Speaker, that the appointing authority appropriately address the regional and gender balancing in nominating and forwarding this nominee to the Assembly. Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Section 45 of the County Government Act 2012, Section 9(2) of the Public Appointments, the County Assembly Approval Act 2017, and the provision of Standing Orders 217-15F of the Makueni County Assembly Orders, the committee recommends that this Assembly adopts this report and approves the nomination of Felistas Kamene Mutuni for appointment as the Chief Officer for Office of the Governor. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the members of the Committee on Devolution and Public Service, it is my pleasure and duty to present this report to this House for consideration and approval for appointment. The committee's report on the vetting of Felistas Kamene. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to thank all members of the Committee on Devolution and Public Service for their commitment and invaluable contribution during the vetting exercise. The committee also takes this opportunity to thank the Office of the Speaker and Clerk of the County Assembly for the technical support accorded to it during vetting exercise. Mr. Speaker, I now call upon Honorable Member Jonathan Kimongo Muunda to second the motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that this Assembly adopts the report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration, and Special Programs on the vetting of the Felistas Kamene Mutuni for appointment as the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor, laid on the table of the Assembly on 14th November 2023. The floor is open for debate. You press the button.
Oh, I'm given the chance, Mr. Speaker?
Yes, you press the button.
Oh, thank you. The button pressed. Yeah, I think it. I just saw the light, maybe, Mr. Speaker. But I will take the opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to first of all support the motion, Mr. Speaker, and congratulate the committee led by the Honorable Otivo and his very able Deputy Honorable Sharon Mutinda and the team. Mr. Speaker, this House has stood very much in doing what we are supposed to do, Mr. Speaker. You know, the process has gone very well, and the committee has seen it fit for Madam Felicitas Kamene Mutune to serve as a chief officer in the office of His Excellency the Governor, Mr. Speaker, which has been, you know, vacant for quite a while, Mr. Speaker. I know now service delivery to the people of Makueni will be now so sufficient, Mr. Speaker, and that this House, Mr. Speaker, continue doing its role, Mr. Speaker. So therefore, without a lot of English, Mr. Speaker, I support.
Mover of the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I want to thank members for their contribution, Mr. Speaker. I request them to support this motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this Assembly adopts the report of the Committee on Devolution, Public Participation, County Administration and Special Programs on the vetting of the Ms. Felicitas Kamene Mutune for appointment as the Chief Officer for the Office of the Governor, laid on the table of the Assembly on 14th November 2023. As many of that opinion say aye. As many of contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it. I so direct that this report is passed over to the Office of the Governor for quick implementation and onboarding of their candidates for quick service delivery to the people of Makueni County. Clerk, next order. Honorable members, the time now being 16:30 hours, this assembly stands adjourned until Wednesday, 15th November 2023 at 2:30 p.m.